We're going to talk about the Jays now that they're 50 games in here on State of the Jays on Garage 33.
Let's face it, this is not the worst thing you've caught me doing.
What's your relationship with baseball? Like playing it growing up? What's the first ball game that you ever went to? How old were you? And when did things kind of click for baseball and like at what age?
My grandpa, he loved baseball. He was always watching it on the TV when we go to family dinners on Sundays. But I didn't really get into it till 2015, the year when they made that playoff push. And then I started playing it in 2016. So it actually took me a while to get into ball. I've only been into it for about 10 years now.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. Obviously, I kind of grew up in a soccer household with my parents being English and my dad in the basement every Sunday watching Villa play. But it was actually, well, our neighbor Dave Parsons, he was actually the one that kind of really got me into it, along with a couple other people. But yeah, it was about the same time, like 2014, 15. I kind of was getting into like the stats of the game. It's always been a part of the game I've always loved, is like just keeping stats and just knowing every single aspect of every player through numbers. I've just always thought that was really cool. And like earliest memories about 2014 going to games, and I think there was a 19 inning game, I think that year, and I was like, well, what, I would have been about 9 or 10, and I was like ready to go home in the sixth inning, and there was like another game of baseball being played. So that was like a funny early on story. But yeah, 2015, same thing. Got super into it and started playing around then, and from there it's just become like one of the most important things in my life.
Nice, nice. All right, let's just hop right into the Blue Jays stuff. I know we're only 50 games in, but what would you say has been the biggest surprise so far this year in those 50 games?
I'll
Quinn.
I'll take this one,
Okay.
or yeah, Quinn.
Yeah,
Sure.
I,
No,
I'll,
no, it's
I'll
fine.
always let you go ahead. I'll let you go
Yeah.
first. I'll let you go
All right.
first.
I'm gonna go a bit on the negative aspect of it in terms of what's been surprising. I mean, history has shown that teams that both win it and make it to the World Series often struggle the next year. It's a pattern that happens a lot in baseball. But I think the biggest surprise has been just the amount of injuries and the severity of the injuries.
Yeah, I agree 100% with the injuries. I didn't see that at all. I didn't expect them to be nearly as good as they were last year. But another big surprise, this time on the positive side, the bullpen's been amazing. For years as Jays fans, we have not gotten that. And I mean, Varland's amazing, Fisher's amazing, Tyler Rogers is awesome. I love Spencer Miles. He's great. Can't
Yeah,
believe going through 15 minor league innings before this season. It's insane. But yeah, and I mean that Adam Macko they called up. What was that? Wednesday, Thursday. He's been
yeah.
awesome in his two appearances. I like him. Fluharty's great. He's a great lefty out of the bullpen. I mean, he had some shaky appearances at the start of the year, but he's starting to figure it out again. You know, as if your bullpen keeps pitching like this, and we get some guys back from injuries, some regulars, and I think the offense can turn it around. Um, they just got to avoid chasing. They're chasing a lot and making poor contact right now, but I mean, those are easy adjustments, and once they get that going, I think they can make a strong push in July, August.
Yeah, I'm 100% in agreement with both of you, actually. Mine's kind of on the more negative side as well, but only because we know how good they can be. We saw it
Yeah.
last year. Um, the fact that we're actually we have one more loss than last year at this point at 50 games. And I get it. We have injuries and all that, but the guys that are hitting aren't. You know what I mean? Like we
Right.
can't rely on just the pitchers in the bullpen to like dig us out every game, right?
Yeah.
Um,
That
yeah,
is
that's just
that's something that is not sustainable at
no,
all. You
No, you
cannot
can't.
you
You
can
can't
never
trust the
rely
bullpen.
on pitching.
no.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like we have such a good depth with with our pitching guys. So I mean, they're going to help get us through, but our bats have to start swinging. Like we're nowhere where we were at the end of last year. Then, like to your point, you were saying, that'll come. Well, I think at this point it already should be there, but it's also going to be a learning curve of like the pitchers that are coming, the newer ones that are coming out, what everyone else is loaded up with as well, right? So I get that. So you're going to have that small learning curve, but maybe I'm just disappointed because the fact that we were at the World Series last year and now we're in the exact same spot as we were last year when we were
Yep.
struggling. So,
Right.
so how much of that do you think is the batters not connecting, the pitchers not doing what they need to do, or are these just the calls that John Schneider's making?
I would start that off by I think that this narrative of keeping your head above water is something that is like just perfect to explain it kind of thing. Like we after the season we had last year, like obviously we know that it was a little rough until it's agreed upon the players. They say like the Texas series last year, which was I think mid-July. That was like the turning point. Like from there, the players and the team and the fans were like, we can really do something here. And being optimistic, I'm sure that that series or game or week, whatever it is going to come. But like, I think the problem as to why people are being very negative about the Jays right now and the up and down and oh, they're so awesome when they win a series and oh, they're so shit when they don't. That all comes from the fact of yeah, we were expecting a lot less than we got last year, and then from that, from getting all the way to Game 7 of the World Series, now our expectations are through the roof. So then you obviously, of course, get newer fans that arguably maybe don't know the history of the team within the last 5, 10 years, or they don't understand the history of the sport. But like, it's baseball. Like that's all I can really say. Like baseball is no, unless you're the Dodgers spending $8 trillion every year, things are going to happen. Guys are going to get hurt. Players aren't going to play to their full potential. And you have rough spells. Like it's better now than it was like near the start of the season, but it's it's baseball. That's all I got to say. It's like things happen, and it's if you are consistently winning, you are way ahead of every other team. Like you lose in baseball. It's one of the only sports where you got to get used to losing. And it's it's just the reality of it. I don't really have much more to say about that aspect.
I just the way this team's been built over the last 5 years, it's been relied heavily upon as a glove first team. I think one of the reasons as to why we're struggling is we have a league average defense right now.
Yep.
And yes, I know that's not a huge deal in the grand scheme of the whole 162 having an average defense, but you're giving away extra bases, you're giving away extra outs like that. It piles up. It really does. And I mean, when you're built as a glove first team, obviously you're sacrificing a little bit of hitting. So, you got to win the 5-4 games. You can't lose the
Yep.
5-4 games. And I think that's the difference between this year and last year. I mean, last year too, the offense got hot, obviously in August, September, and October. But I mean, for majority of the year, they were a glove first team that played great defense. They got good starting pitching, and they scrapped out 3 or 4 runs and won ball games. And I just don't. That's not the same team this year so
No.
far.
No, they don't
And
seem to be having nearly as much fun like they normally do either, right? So that
Right.
was a key aspect for them before and I get some of that comes along with you're playing well, so you get to joke around and have some fun. But that being said, who would you say on the team has the most pressure on them then?
It's easily Guerrero.
yeah, I would
Guerrero
think
easily has the most pressure.
I would think for sure it's Guerrero. You could argue Springer, but the educated baseball fan would say the guy's 36. The season he had last year was way better than anyone thought it would be. So I would agree 100% Vladdy because he's that
Yeah.
$500 million man. People want him. People want to see that he deserves that money. And he's been average wise and getting on base wise, he's been awesome. But I mean, a lot of fans want that 2021 Vladdy back, where albeit they were playing in a minor league stadium, but he was lifting the ball. And this year he doesn't really. He seems to be going away from it, which is not a bad thing. But I've always seen Guerrero as a power hitter, and now you take away that power and the expectancy of power, it puts it on other guys that don't necessarily have the power, and then you start to wonder why, like, we have such low slug. And it's like, because our team is it's so hard to tell now, because it's like, it's not like these guys don't have power, but they're not hitting for slug. They're getting on base fine, but like, they're striking out more than we ever have. We've never been a team, at least in the past 5 years, that has been known for striking out. But I mean, we've added guys that are like bad for the strikeouts. Lenny Sosa, Sanchez, they're all swing and miss guys, but you get power. The sacrifice you make, the trade off, is that they might swing and miss, but then they'll hit 30 homers, but that's just not happening. And
Right.
that's when questions start to get asked, for sure.
Well, that's why we
So
need
I
more. That's why we need more guys like Clement. Clement's a
Yeah.
guy.
yeah.
He's one of the most consistent guys. He gets on base. He's reliable. He doesn't have the power. I mean, he still gets home runs. Just not. He's obviously not going to hit the numbers that Guerrero's hitting or another.
Yep.
But I would prefer a guy just to get to first or second
Yep.
than have to swing for the fences every time, right? But
100%.
I
I would take 9 Ernie Clements on a team. I think that team would do really well, because he
Hmm.
does a lot of things well, like almost everything well.
It's funny. I don't know why, but in my head, the guy with the most pressure on him is Snyder, and not John.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
get rid of him.
I know. So like, I like the guy, but
Yeah.
Davis needs to start stepping up, doing a little bit better. I don't know what his issue is. He's the best at challenging out of all the batters that we have, because he's almost always right. There's the odd one that he gets wrong, but he was still a fairly key element of last year's success, right?
Yeah.
He needs to find his
sure.
swing back, but I'm surprised he hasn't been dropped back down to the minors. And I can see he's almost on that doorstep right now.
So my only thing is, and I should have looked this up, I don't know if he has any options left. And if he doesn't have any options left, I guarantee someone's going to claim him or on the waiver wire. So I think that's kind of the problem, is they can't send him down to figure him out because they know he'll go.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's a platoon bat that has some versatility, and I mean, he's a fan favorite. And I think they're having a tough time,
Mhm.
letting
But
him go.
but I feel these conversations is where, like, I'd say the three of us are quite knowledgeable on this topic, but the more average baseball fan or Jays fan, they start to overlook the idea of it is a business first.
Right.
And like, yeah, David Schneider, his mustache is hilarious. Seems like a nice guy off the field, but it's like, when it comes down to brass tacks, he's not a player that helps the team at the end of the day. He's starting to hurt it a little bit. And if he does have options, I really don't know if he does, but if he does have an option, I see no reason why they shouldn't just send him down tonight. And he takes a week or two, gets his confidence back, gets his mechanics back, and then I'm all for it. If he can play his role, he can be a fan favorite. Yeah. But I don't think I don't think the reason a player should stay on a roster is because they're a fan favorite. And it's so obvious that that's the reason why he's staying up, because you got a guy in Lenny Sosa who hit 22 home runs last year, who does swing and miss a lot, but he's a way better player. And they're talking about cutting him over Davis Schneider. And it's like, I, we have way more to work off with Lenny Sosa than we do Davis Schneider. And
Well, I was just gonna say
go
I
ahead.
don't
Yeah.
know if they necessarily keep people because they're fan favorites. Look at Brandon Little. the whole city hated that guy. As soon as he
Yeah.
started walking towards the mound, everyone just started shutting off their TVs or complained for the next 20 minutes while
Yeah.
he's pitching, and nobody knows why they kept him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, why do you keep sending him out there?
And I had this conversation a lot with my roommates at school, and they were always talking about how, like, we had always had the conversation of like, why are these guys still playing? And I think in the case of Davis Schneider, and you could argue Tyler Heineman, they're like glue guys, they're locker room guys, and every team has locker room guys, don't get me wrong, but it it shouldn't be the only reason keeping the guys on the team. I know it sounds a little too harsh, but it's like Tyler Heineman, once Alejandro Kirk comes back, Tyler Heineman will be DFA'd. And I think that's a fair prediction, because in reality he should be, because he's not productive offensively and he is above average defensively, but he is kind of just filling a spot right now. And when Kirk comes back, Valenzuela has been playing a lot better than Heineman, and
Yeah,
they got to make some tough decisions. Like, that's the problem with all these injuries is long-term injuries. Guys go out, you get new guys in, you start to like the new guys, and then the hurt guys come back, and then you have to start making those hard decisions. And
yeah,
I think it starts with Schneider and Heineman.
yeah. I'd agree with that. The Venezuela, he just he looks so good. Like he's fast at getting out of his stance to go and get a ball, whereas you're not getting that from Kirk. Don't get me wrong, Kirk's got a lot of pluses to him, but he's not exactly a mobile guy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
no, exactly.
Yeah,
no,
And the
Valens. Sorry,
sorry, Quinn,
Kieran,
go
that's on
ahead.
me.
You go ahead.
I was just saying Valenzuela. I love him switch hitting catcher. He's a shotgun of an arm, raw power. I think he's perfect.
Yeah.
Honestly, I like Kirk, but I really like to see Valenzuela get a full 130 game season. I think he'd be special.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
I'd agree
he's
with that
got all
too.
the aspects of he's got all the parts,
Yep.
Valenzuela, to be. And don't get me wrong, he as long as the time as Kirk is here and healthy, Valenzuela will never play over Alejandro Kirk. But
I think you might
I
see
mean,
that slowly switch over though, because he can get the ball off to second way better than Kirk can.
he can for sure. Um, but I've noticed with Kirk out that you do see a difference in the control of the game, and what I mean by that is Valenzuela is a rookie. He's obviously probably caught for the entirety of his life or playing career, so he knows what he's doing. But I mean more the fact of Alejandro Kirk calls and commands and controls games as a professional a lot better than the other guys. And you don't. It's
So
one of those things that you don't really notice unless you really look in with a microscope. But Kirk he brings a lot of value to the team that isn't necessarily calculable. I don't know how to explain it, but I think
so
that's the best way.
would you say that he might be that missing key right now for the pitchers? Like maybe
Yeah,
that's what we're missing from last year.
yeah, actually I'm glad you brought that up, because that is a very real thing. And a lot of Jays pitchers have said that Heineman is very they do like Heineman catching, and that he does get along with them, but I think you miss something with Kirk a little bit. Like Kirk, the guys just have that extra trust with Kirk, and that's
Right.
not even talking about offensively. Like, he always is a spark in the offense. He always seems to be that spark. He'll drive guys in, he'll start rallies, he'll hit a home run here and there. You know what? He'll hit that sac fly that gets that run in to win the game. Like, he's that guy, and it's just you don't get that stuff with the other two guys. So it's like Kirk, in my opinion, has been the most detrimental loss for the team in terms of
Right.
injuries. Because
Hmm.
catcher is the heart, like, he's the heart of your team. You want your catcher to be someone that's confident and can do it on both sides of the plate, where you get spurts of it with the other guys, but not quite as much as Kirk.
Just savage. Let's just talk about him for a minute. The guy's phenomenal. I know he had a bit of a run there where he wasn't doing well, but because people started to watch some tapes of him and stuff, but he threw out Judge, what, 3 or 4 times 2 nights ago? Like, come on. and he's only
He's
been
filthy.
here. Actually, so let me bring this up. Charlie Ashbury from the Hazy Sports podcast sent me this. He's the only pitcher since the integration with with an ERA below 2 with 45 strikeouts, 0 home runs allowed in his first 8 starts of his career.
He's
That says it right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
he's
Well,
awesome.
yeah,
And
He's awesome.
the thing about Savage for me is I think he is someone that like needs the big lights and he needs the 40,000 people in the stands to really get that out of him. Like obviously he played really well in the minors last year to get to that point, but like he got thrown to the wolves in the World Series and playoffs, like but and he excelled, right? And he loved it and that was his first taste of MLB. So I think with him being hurt and being in AAA, like he did struggle in AAA. It could have been because he was still maybe a little bit hurt, maybe not 100%. But I think that the pressure factor is a real thing. Like he loves to be on that MLB mound and in front of all those people rather than in Buffalo on a cold Tuesday night. I
right.
think that is a real thing. And I think that is like holy grail thing from a pitcher is you want them to be that guy that like does not care if there's 50,000 people screaming for you to be you know what like against you and like Yankee Stadium you got 50,000 people screaming at you hating you saying all these things to you.
Yeah.
I feel that it fuels him and it makes him better, and he is one of the only guys that can go into Yankee Stadium and strike Judge out 3 times and give up what, 1 run.
Two
On
hits,
even
0 earned.
2 hits, yeah, no earned. Like he's special. He really is special.
I'm nervous he's gonna be another Manoah.
Really.
Really
You think so?
nervous. Yep. I I mean, he's young and he's got a funky release slot, and I mean, he throws harder than Manoah ever did, but I do worry.
Hey, way to stay positive.
Yeah.
I know it's just. I mean, this was the same kind of conversations that we were having about Manoah. Like we thought we had a guy for the next 10 years that was a bona fide ace, and I mean he's throwing 85 now in LA. Manoa. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
it's just, especially with pitchers, you don't know. Like some of these guys peak when they're 22, and then you got guys like Michael Wacha and Nick Martinez that are having careers at 36. Like you really just don't know, and
Yeah.
I think that's the scariest part of baseball and pitching in general.
Do you think we need another closer? Like we've got Hoffman basically, right? I mean,
Varland's nails. Oh, you don't move off Varland.
no,
No,
Well, I
Varland's
mean,
perfect.
Verland's that guy that you can put in any spot. So you like, there's been times where we've had to throw him around into okay, he's comes in right after a starter, whatever, right? But he's got that ability. He's awesome.
No.
He's actually one of my favorite pitchers. Him and Fluharty. There's I know a lot of people don't say Fluharty's as good as what I think he is, but I think he's a solid staple on that mound, right? So, um, yeah, Louis Varland's just he's at next level. He's got that versatility. Like I said, it's just I like him a lot. But
So here's my thing about the closer scenario. We've got Jimmy Garcia coming back off the IL soon. I know he's not necessarily guaranteed to be who he was before he got hurt, but I mean, you've got him coming back. I think they need to get a fifth starter. Barrios is done for the year.
yeah,
Whatever his name is, Ponce is done for the year, and then Scherzer, you really don't know when we release Lauer. So that's
yeah.
4 start. Like we have to get a fifth starter because I don't really trust Scherzer at 42. So I think if we're going to address pitching, let's say we're in a winning position at the trade deadline, I think you have to get a fifth starter in that terms. And I think the bullpen's okay as of right now. I would leave it as is.
And
What it-
I'm just gonna play devil's advocate quick. There's 2 sides of that argument too. You could say that, you got and it's a big bet on relying on it, but like you got guys like Cease, Gosman, and you Savage that can go deep into games and give the bullpen a little bit more of that break every day. And you could roll with 4 starters in a bullpen day every 5th day. Like you really could if you wanted to. And like I don't know, we saw it last night. Braden Fisher started, and the Yankees put up a goose egg. And I think again, it is a hard thing to rely on, and it is hard on arms, but, like, if you can get Braden Fisher doing 2, 3 innings every 5th day, and, Varland come in whenever you want, he could start or sorry, he could close, he could come in the 6th, you got Rogers, you got all these guys that are very versatile in the ways and the situations in which they can pitch, like, I think you could maybe save a buck and roll with 4, but I personally agree with Quinn. They do need to look for that 5th guy or transition a guy into becoming a starter, whatever it is. I think it is risky to roll with 4. So I agree. Look for that 5th.
It's not a bad call. I mean, it's too bad you couldn't have more pitchers in the wings. I mean, you can only take so many, so, I mean, you gotta pick and choose who you're gonna take, obviously, but I think
Yeah.
there's 2 or 3 guys in our group that you could easily let go and get somebody else in there, like you said, Max Scherzer, blah. Um, he had his time. Don't get me wrong, he's had his moments, but he's not reliable.
No. Right.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, is there nobody in AAA that we can bring up? I know you don't wanna
So
overload too much with guys that you just brought up, but I think that might still be better than Scherzer.
this is kind of looking into the future. Let's say we don't get a 5th starter at the trade deadline. There's this guy right now. He's in high A, I believe. His name's Johnny King. He's me and Kieran's age, 2006 born. Ever since he got drafted last year, he's been lighting up the minors. And I think he could pull like a Savage thing in September. And I think he would thrive in that. Like, I think we have another Trey Savage waiting for us in September.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
So who would you kick out then? Would it be
Well, it'd be probably Scherzer. I mean, he'll, let's be completely honest, he's going to have a new injury by then anyways. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to break anyone's heart. You can just fan him IL him. Yeah, I think Scherzer kind of knows what the deal is, I believe, now that he's 42.
And the thing about Scherzer is, we've seen a few guys go into their 40s, and the reason that they're still pitching in their 40s is that they can still do a job. And the first example that comes to mind is Tim Wakefield, who pitched for Boston. I think he was 46. I think he played. He was like started when he was 20 and retired at 46. So he had 26-year career, and he didn't get hurt a lot because he threw the knuckleball. He wasn't throwing too hard on his arm. He was a knuckleball guy, and he was getting jobs done. By no means was he the best pitcher in the league when he was older, but he did a job. And Scherzer he had a good year last year, and he was doing that job. But this year, I don't truly believe that he is. I think it is a phantom IL stint where they don't want to cut him, they don't want to trade him. Not that he would get anything for trading him, but they don't want to pitch him because he's just not really in the right spot. There could be something off mechanically or something, and they want to cover it with a umbrella term of he's hurt. But he I've always been an advocate since the start of this year where I think they should just say, look, we'll buy out your contract and we'll give you a fresh one so that you can be like some sort of like bench coach or like whatever the title they gave Kevin Kiermaier a few years ago. Like literally like just it's a glorified bench guy that just hangs out with the guys and is there for morale. And I think Scherzer, whether it's a conversation with himself or if it's the management to have a conversation with him, but he's getting a little close to the finish line, I think. And I'm going to use the quote that is thrown around in football/soccer a lot, that you have to leave the game before the game leaves you. And I think he's inching towards the game leaving him a bit. And I don't want to see this guy blow up at the end of his career because he is a first ballot Hall of Famer. And you would want to see a guy like that go out strong. And I just think that he might love baseball, he might love pitching, but it depends on how much he really cares about his legacy.
Well, on that note, we're at that time. Right before we go, what's your prediction for the amount of wins at the end of the year? The first episode of State of the Jays, I said that we would break break that 100 mark. So I said 100. 100 wins because we were,
Ooh.
what, 98 last year?
I think we had
96?
94.
Was it
I think we had
94?
94.
94.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you guys say? What are your predictions for wins?
Kieran, I'll let you take it. Oh, okay. I'm going to say
think
80,
about it.
86 wins we get in as a wild card team.
I'm gonna say a little bit higher in the 80s. I'm gonna say 88 wins, and we are a wild card.
I think we'll still end up in the same spot as we were last year because we're, like I said, we're still at that same mark, and we've got a lot of guys that can still fire. So, but
Yeah.
I guess only time will tell. So
Yep.
thanks for coming. Thanks for coming on and doing this again. We'll have to do it again.
Oh
Thanks
yeah,
for having us.
love to. Thanks
That
for
was
having
awesome.
us.
All right, and we'll talk to everybody next time.